Shinsegae family have full custody of both their kids, and it's stated that she is banned from ever seeing them again.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So she gets kicked out. She can no longer see her kids, and all she gets is $1 million. One of the main actresses of Mask Girl. She's actually the main lead of probably, to this day, what a lot of South Koreans believe is the pinnacle of Korean movie making. She won basically the Korean version of an Oscars for that movie. And then right after winning that, when she is at the height, the prime of her career, she just vanishes. And then she comes back after a 10-year hiatus, and it's like she's ready to go. She won the award, disappeared, comes back, wins the award again. She just goes, I am grateful for such a great award, and I thank all the staff. I also think of my family. I will do my best. Thank you. And she looks like she's about to cry. And everyone is like, this is the weirdest award speech. So she's literally about to walk off stage when the award host, they're like, please come back to the mic. Tell us more about how you feel.
아이들도 보고 있으면 좋겠고 맞습니다.
Are they watching from heaven? Are they watching from a hostage kidnapper's apartment? Like, what do you mean if they're watching this? And after this, people start digging up another clip that was circulating where she's talking about her kid. They ask her, why did you come back after 10 years? Like, is there a passion for you coming back? Like, what is your passion for acting? Because she could probably retire. She said, the more I get on TV, the more likely I think my children will watch me. And so I just want to show them all of that, all of me. What kind of mother do you want to be seen as? A happy mother? Because I don't live with my children, I hope they think of it as a special kind of love from their actress mother. So during the height of June's career, she's out in New York City. She has a couple of days in between filming. She's there with her mom and she's sitting in the taxi. The driver suddenly pulls over in the middle of this busy, jam-packed street. She looks out the window and this is the one place that she wanted to go in New York, a Broadway show. She walks in and immediately she's overwhelmed. She's overstimulated, which is me as okay? Because she can't find her seat number and she doesn't speak English. And a man from the other side of the room spots June in his peripheral vision. He sees her just squinting around, looking lost, looking like she's about to break a sweat. And he runs over to her before he loses his chance. And he's a university student at Brown and he came to the theater with his younger sister. He looks a little bit older than June. I would say at this point, she's 22 and he's 25 years old. They lock eyes and she immediately relaxes. He starts talking to her in Korean and helps her find her seat in the theater. And she was so grateful, so appreciative. She even offered, let me buy you dinner tomorrow as like a thank you. Obviously, he accepts her dinner invitation. But June is just a girl because she shows up to dinner the next day that she's buying him dinner for thanking him for helping find her seat. And she's all so...
Wait, but she was famous by then?
Yes.
So she's a famous actress?
Yes, but he doesn't really bring it up yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and so she shows up to dinner and she's all...
Wait, so she's buying a random dude dinner?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she's like, so here's the thing. Here's the problem. I literally just lost my wallet on the way here. It vanished. Now, James, he can pay for the meal. Don't get me twisted. Okay, don't get it wrong. But he doesn't because he doesn't want Miss June to go without her money or her IDs in this foreign country. So he's like, oh, well, we can just skip dinner. I can just help you find your wallet. So they start walking up and down the streets of dirty New York, tracing her steps to find her wallet. And this is when you realize two things. Neither of these people are regular people. June tells him what she does for a living, and she's very shy. She's like, so I'm an actress. I was in the movie Sandglass, the one that broke all the records. And he's like, I know. James probably recognized her immediately right off the bat in the theater, but June did not recognize James. And James is also famous in his own industry. He is part of the Shinsegae family. The Shinsegae family is basically like a spin-off of the Samsung family. I mean, it's like the Samsung family is like 8 billionaire families. His grandpa is like the founder of Samsung, or like somewhere in the Samsung line. But I don't know if they ever found June's wallet that night or who paid for dinner, but the vibes are vibing. After that first dinner together, they meet up again and they go watch the Phantom of the Opera. And things just start escalating so quickly. quickly. Barely 6 months later, they're back in South Korea and they're engaged, planning their wedding. Now, this story of how they...
Wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. So this story of how they first met, okay, is both confirmed by James and June, but it do feel a little scripted. It feels a little PR-y. And Mr. and Mrs. Lee had their 8th and final child, Myung-hee, and she would adopt the Shinsegae Empire. This is the family that James is born into. Oh, yeah. And this is soon going to be the family that June's children are born into. Because she's marrying James, the head of Shinsegae Group. He's a little cringe. He's also a huge baseball fan. He runs his own Chinese restaurant called Young Genius. I think it's a play on words. It's only open to Shinsegae employees. And his whole PR team states that he is the one that makes all the recipes and he loves physically cooking in the back for his employees. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for a second. We were just in Korea and like you should see the way that these people be behaving, okay? People be bowing at them at the entrances of establishments and they act like they don't exist. This is probably where the public has the most interactions with Shinsegae. They have the world's biggest department store. Globally, they won the record. It's the Shinsegae department store in South Korea, and it's just one of their many department stores. Anyway, Shinsegae department store has 13 locations all around South Korea, and the one person that is capable of taking over all of this is James and his family. And the whole time that James is in his 20s, he never really dated. That's the story. Until he meets a beauty queen. She's not a Chaebol, but she is this perfect, stunning A-list actress that makes him weak in the knees, that makes him tight in the jeans, okay? So he meets her, allegedly, I don't believe you, in New York. They get married and it's like the royal wedding. This is the peak of their relationship. There's gonna be guards at the door opening it for the wedding venue. June is standing in the doorway. She's marrying the love of her life. Her dress is a one of one designed by a famous designer, Seo Jung-gi, and her wedding dress gets labeled the most wanted dress because every single bride after June, this is like the Kate Middleton effect. Everybody wants sleeves after that. Everybody wanted lace sleeves, okay? Well, for her, she's wearing a collar. It's a symbol of wealth, apparently. And her collar is not fabric. It's actually covered completely in freshwater pearls. So. But also, she's under a lot of pressure. There's 1,300 wedding guests. Half of the guests are the business elites of South Korea. Just all of the Samsung family are basically there. And like head of politicians are there. Head of the ministry of whatever's there because, of course, there's no bribery. They're just genuinely friends. What are you talking about? And then on the other side, you have all of the industry professionals from the movie theater, like, not from the movie theater, from the movie industry. And this is like the first time it's colliding. Now, and like a little side note, you would think it's so common, right? But the Korean show business was not what it is today. Like people actually look down on show business because show business is considered soft power. I think even today it's considered soft power. But back then, like if you have Samsung, that's real power. That's real money. Show business is like, okay, you have some people watching with their eyeballs. So what? In one interview where they're asking June, isn't dating a Chaebol weird? I mean, isn't it weird to marry? Like, it's not a normal relationship. Like, you're rubbing shoulders with other billionaires daily, and then paparazzi are coming and they're more violating you than like a pap smear. And she just says, I mean, I didn't really care. I was just in love. Now, this is where it gets weird. They just like disappear. They decide that they're going to go move to Japan and raise their children. And she retires from acting like right off the bat. And so for the first few months, people are sad. Maybe even for the first year. But then after like 10 years pass, people just kind of forget. They're like, oh, June and James, they're probably madly in love, living their billionaire lives. And then they drop a nuclear bomb and netizens are shook. The lovely couple that nobody has seen around are getting divorced. 10 years later. And this divorce takes 2 hours, 120 minutes. And they cite that they're getting divorced after 10 years of marriage over differences in personality. They've got 2 children together. People find out that she's only getting $1 million. $1 million from one of the wealthiest men, one of the wealthiest families in the whole country. That is probably 0.083% of his net worth.
Point zeros.
June was supposed to get a Starbucks. Like a cup, like a grande iced tea, okay?
What do you mean?
No, okay, so like I said, Shinsegae literally owns half of the Starbucks stores. Starbucks decided that they wanted to open up in South Korea, but they didn't want to, I guess, invest all the money themselves. So they go in 50-50 with Shinsegae. So every single Starbucks store in South Korea is actually half owned by Shinsegae. So that's what I'm telling you. It's like way more than just department stores. Like they do a lot of weird stuff, okay? Yeah, and so she was going to get a Starbucks store. Like to own.
One store only?
One store only, which is also crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but that one store would be valued at maybe like $3 million. But for whatever...
still-
Yeah, nothing.
That's so sad.
But for whatever reason, she doesn't get the Starbucks. The Chaebols are like, here you go. Here's a little cake pop. Just kidding, never mind. And they just give her $1 million. And the court even asked, okay, the couple's residence in Hannam-dong, is that going to June? No. Okay, so that house in Hannam-dong will be going to James then? Yes. So no house, no property, no Starbucks, no Shinsegae stocks, nothing. Just $1 million cash and a bad reputation because divorced women are looked down in South Korea. And another thing, they find out through court documents that she is not allowed to see her children. Oh yeah, the
Not
Shinsegae
allowed
family,
to see the children?
the Shinsegae family have full custody of both their kids, and it's stated that she is banned from ever seeing them again.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So she gets kicked out. She can no longer see her kids, and all she gets is $1 million. She would spend 1,000,000 times more than that just to see her children again.
Is that why she said at the beginning?
Yeah, we're going to get to it. But at the time of this divorce, which happened in like 2003, netizens, they start hating on June. So rather than asking, ooh, maybe it's a personal issue or figuring out why they're so mean to make her not see her kids anymore, they start digging up dirt on June. The netizens do. The mainstream media do. And the first thing is people think she was cheating. Let me give you some context. This is when she's still married. It's 1 p.m. in Hannam-dong, which is, like I said, Korea's version of Billionaire's Row. And it's so late that the only lights on are from the street lights. Now, June, she's not on her way home. She's actually on her way leaving the house. 11 p.m. Oh my gosh. What a horrendous mother. What a horrendous wife, okay? But anyway, that's not the point. She's driving in this Porsche Cayenne, and she needs to make a pit stop. She parks this car, and she gets out for a second. The car gets stolen. But inside of it were multiple luxury bags. There were stacks of cash, like stacks of Korean won, stacks of Japanese yen, and like a bunch of checks that were already signed, like cashier's checks. And it's just so bizarre. Like, what's going on? Why did she have all of that in her car, right? But what's even more bizarre is that after this car gets stolen, she doesn't report it. Well, the Porsche isn't even her car. So at first people are like, okay, well, maybe she didn't report it because it's not her car. So someone else would report it. But the thing is, the car belonged to Shinsegae. It's like a company car. And so Shinsegae employees were doing like a stock list, I guess, of all the company cars. And they're like, wait, there's a Porsche that's missing. And it's just weird. So they report that car missing. They end up finding it, that it was stolen. And they're like, well, what happened that night? Well, how did it get stolen? They trace it all back to June. And so she explains the full story to the police. She said that she was just driving and she needed to throw up. She was out with some close friends. The identity of these friends never got revealed. And she said, yeah, I mean, I was drinking with friends in Gangnam and my friend was driving because he's the designated driver because I was obviously, but I needed to throw up. So they pulled over on the side of the road and I started throwing up. And that is when the car got stolen. It's very weird.
Like hijacked.
Yeah. One of James' colleagues would come out to say, this is her husband, Shinsegae's colleague, okay, would come out to say the Porsche theft incident was a decisive factor in the divorce. James had advised June not to drive that car at night. Similar things had happened several times before, and she was almost kicked out of the house. In particular, the relationship with the man who was driving the car was the decisive reason for the divorce. So people are like, okay, we got the answer of why she got $1 million and not even a cake pop because she's a cheater. But he still doesn't divorce her at that moment because a year later, June is in another incident where she's driving late out at night. And this is the middle of night on Christmas Day. It's December 25th. And she's driving a BMW. She gets into a triple car collision. One of the drivers blames June for the accident and even posted on the Blue House, like the Korean White House bulletin board, that they did not receive adequate compensation and was treated unfairly by this traffic accident that was caused by the Shinsegae wife. So it's like this whole thing. People are like, where was she going? The Shinsegae family finally come out and say that she was on her way to the temple to offer early morning prayers. But it's just weird. It's just very weird. Then the weirdest accusation comes out a year later. Not only is she cheating, but netizens start gathering. She's rude and she's aggressive. Oh yeah, she was apparently making a comeback at this point. She's gonna return to a K-drama for the first time called Return. Yeah. Okay. And people were pissed because people on the production team are threatening to quit. They're petitioning. They're ganging up on the producers and directors. They told them either fire June or we're leaving. And staff members keep leaking all this information about June, about how she never remembers her lines. She's always late for set. She makes everybody wait for her in freezing snowy weather because she just doesn't want to follow the rules. And at this point, she's upset with who her character is turning into, like the character development, that she ends up choking out one of the producers is the allegation.
Choking out?
Yeah. They
What?
said that she assaulted the director on Return drama set. It was a whole thing. They had to replace her mid-season. So you just watch the drama and June is the main character and then all of a sudden she's not the main character and somebody else is the main character. Later, another post comes out about a student who happened to be in one of June's classes for acting. And this student is like, no, this woman is weird. She would sit there and just while she's teaching our class and like her whole desk was a mess. Like she's just not a good person. All of this resurfaces and it's continuing to develop and people decide, you know what? She should be blacklisted because she's not a good person. Until finally, there is a door that opens. She can become the ambassador to Lancome. She's gonna be Lancome's Korea's ambassador. Except, some people allege that Shinsegae department stores also put up June's poster boards. And then within 24 hours, every single employee allegedly got an email that said something along the lines of,
Good morning. Please remove all promotions with June Go effective immediately.
so if you walked into Shinsegae's department stores, you would not see June anywhere in any Lancome store.
Wow.
So it's almost like they are blacklisting her
Kind of
from,
petty, huh?
yeah, kind of petty, right? It's a little bit weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
You're still not over her?
Yeah, and then later on, I think she's in other promotions that are in other stores, but they're never in Shinsegae, to the point where there is a rumor that there is a rule that no Shinsegae store is allowed to have June Go's promotions anywhere. 6 years after the divorce, and she finally decides to tell everyone what happened, and people were ready. So June is sitting across from Kang Ho-dong, and he just starts asking the tough questions. She said, when people commented on my marriage, many people were saying that my marriage wasn't out of love and other things. Do you feel wronged by rumors that stated it was a loveless marriage? Yeah, I really did like him a lot. Okay, this kind of shook everyone. Nobody expected her to be banned, blacklisted, and still say anything nice about this guy. Well, what did you love about him? His sense of humor? He's a very polished, sophisticated sense of humor, and he's sweet and a really cool person. If you didn't know him, he might be perceived as cocky and pretentious, but getting to know him, he's not. He wasn't cocky about the fact that he was powerful. He was just funny, and I think we complemented each other really well. I really liked our relationship.
wow.
Yeah, so people are like, what is going on? They ask her if she regrets retiring, and she said no. She also said that if there was anything that she could change about the relationship, it's she felt like she wasn't old or matured enough or grown enough to handle the expectations of the challenges she was facing. And then netizens under this video, they kept commenting, when I watch this again as I get older, I can just see that her eyes are full of pain. This is also the same interview where they ask her why she came back to acting, and she basically states that she came back to acting because the more she's on TV, the more of a chance that her children could see her on the screen. Yeah. And so everyone is like, wait, are we sure she's a bad person? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then there were rumors. There were rumors that there's this one picture that went viral. People were digging it up again. And it's June standing outside of the Shinsegae estate and her father-in-law is leaving. He's getting into the car. The driver is standing with the door open and June just looks miserable. Kang Ho-dong even asks about them in the interview because there were rumors that in the house, the Shinsegae family, they all know English because most of them had studied abroad in America. And then they also learned French. There were rumors that when she was around, they would only talk to each other in English and French so that she had no idea what they were saying. And she was confronted about this rumor and she said, no, like that's not true. People don't believe her though. So it seems like June was just constantly being the bigger person and people were like, that was not on my bingo card. What is going on? And this itself just destroyed all the allegations about her. And people are saying, if she was cheating, shit, I would cheat too. If that was the condition I was living in, we don't know if that's the condition she was living in, but like if it was, I would cheat. And then also the whole bags of cash, it's giving like, is she trying to run away? You know, it's just everything about it in this new lens is fascinating.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's so...
She didn't even say anything bad about him.
Nothing bad at all. It just feels like there's no way she's this horrendous person that everybody makes her to be, because horrendous people, eventually their colors come out. She also later opened up a YouTube channel, and she's still posting on YouTube frequently, where she kind of opened up a little bit more to the public about everything that's been going on. She said that Japan was probably the loneliest time of her life. People thought that she's in Japan living this billionaire wife life, just in all the best parts of Tokyo, not lifting a finger, living the dream. But it seems like people look down on her, like the whole Shinsegae family. And so they essentially, maybe, exiled her to Japan. She didn't have a single credit card or bank account in her name. Everything was probably just like given to her, and it probably wasn't a lot of money. She also said that they never wanted James to marry her. His parents never wanted them to be together.
What?
And finally, James's mom came around and said that she respects her elders. Basically, she stated that June knows her place. Like, she's not stuck up and thinks she's the shit like most actresses think. I mean, that doesn't seem like they respect her.
Yeah.
So she basically got banished to Japan. And now that they're divorced, she can't see her kids. And she is just... Yeah, I think she's just trying to do anything to see them again. She has this one YouTube video, oh my god, that was posted recently around the time that school's finals are. And her kids are probably doing finals right now. And it's a 2.5-hour study with me, where she's just studying. Like, you know those Lofi study with me's?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just studying.
Because...
Maybe she hopes her kids will see it and study with her. For finals. Yeah, I'm obsessed with her. I mean, I'm watching her vlogs. Okay, I thought maybe the interview is one thing. Maybe she can put on the best act ever. She's an actress, right? But her vlogs, she just seems like such an artistic, creative person. So it seems like with her new YouTube channel and those interviews, and like she's slowly, after that interview, 6 years after her divorce, people's sentiment about her started shifting. So since then, slowly, she's been making her comeback in the entertainment industry, and she won the Baeksang Award. She won another, basically a Korean Oscar. After all of this, after the retirement from being married, after the divorce, after everybody turned on her, she's labeled like the worst mother of the year, basically. She makes a comeback and she wins the Oscars. And that's why the host kept trying to get her to talk, because it must be such an emotional moment for her. There must be so much going on, but she was just so overcome with the feelings of, she just hoped her kids were watching when she won.
Wow.
And so she has a YouTube channel, and it honestly, at some points, some of the videos feels like she's talking to her kids. People love her. Like, they love her. They'll go to war for her.
Where are her kids? Do we know anything?
I believe one of them is studying in the US. One of them is under James's tutelage to become the next heir.
Okay, so they must have seen her. Like, Mask Girl is huge.
I hope so. If I'm not mistaken, one of the kids was on social media and somebody asked, like, do you not talk to your mother anymore? And they just wrote like, oh, I haven't spoken to her. So yeah, and now June is, I think, trying to get the attention of her children. She's back in mainstream media, and she is now the face of, well, she's not the face, but she's partnered with LG Electronics, aka Samsung's direct competitor. So that's what's happening right now.
What about the husband?
The husband does have a new wife, though, that he apparently met at a flute performance. And that is the story of the actress behind Mask Girl.